Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Pauly Howard live downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Thanks for checking in today on the VSiN app, YouTube TV, on Sirius XM channel 158, wherever you might be watching or listening to the show this afternoon here on MLK Day. Great show lined up over the next 3 hours, including Paul Stone, pro sports bettor in 30 minutes in the national title game. Chuck Edel, professional sports bettor. He won the Friday night contest here at Circa with an astonishing record. He's on in an hour. Nick Bogdanovich as well. So heavy today, national title. Weekend recap, Pauly, no doubt, looking ahead to Championship Sunday. But we have to begin with breaking news that came down 15 minutes ago. I can't believe it. You tweeted it out right before the show. It's a miracle. The Bears, we think, right? This is the guy. Who knows how this is going to work out? Maybe he's a dud and it lasts 2 years. But this is the guy you had to target all along with Caleb Williams in that offense. The Chicago Bears, according to Tom Pelissero, NFL Network, are going to finalize a deal with Ben Johnson to be their next head coach. Yeah.
Great job.
I agree.
Think they had it in them. I didn't think they could pull this off, and they interviewed 30 people, but they get their number one guy. And how about all the erroneous reports? Wow, the tug of war. It was between the Bears and the Raiders. But the reports, that's what just came down. But the reports were Raiders or Lions.
For like 4 days.
Yeah.
That's all we heard. Right? Either Tom Brady is sweet-talking this guy into becoming the head coach out here, or he's like, nah, he's uncomfortable. He's an introvert. He doesn't like big crowds, doesn't like to speak, that kind of a deal. So he's going to be okay being the Lions offensive coordinator, and Dan Campbell can be the face of the Lions organization. Nope. That didn't last very long. Bears got their guy. How would you grade this overall?
It's an A.
Yeah.
Because he's the number one guy and who was out there. Because my pecking order was Johnson, Kingsbury, or McCarthy. Because if this is the guy you wanted last year, and now he falls into your lap
there
here,
you go.
The whole thing moving forward is fixing Williams. That's the whole thing. So I don't care what kind of defense you have or who you bring in, unless you get some creativity and fix him and gets a good scheme and make it look like and have some organized chaos where you're actually running stuff and putting in good packages, then you have a chance, and then it only can succeed from there. But it has no chance if you're just running that crap with the clock management issues, rolling out to his left every play or to his right, and no organization. So it was, they couldn't go defense. You saw the Eberflus mess with who was out there, and that they get this guy after all the people they were talking to. It's an A.
Totally agree. In fact, again, I will reiterate this. Maybe he flops after 2 or 3 years and he's not a good head coach. Some guys were born to be really good coordinators. Other guys are not good head coaches.
That's possible.
And I'll stand by it. Like at the time, Paul, what you just said, all things considered, you have to give this an A. I would lean towards an A+.
Right.
Because they didn't get, there was no John Harbaugh out there right now. Jim Harbaugh, sorry. There's no Jim Harbaugh in this coaching cycle. So did they whiff on him last year? Yeah, 100% they did.
Well, here's why you had to do it, though, too, because he was the number one guy, and you've never done that before.
Right.
Look at the motley crew of guys they've had in there. Tressman, Eberflus, John Fox. I mean, look at some of these coaches they've had.
Yeah, sure. And I think everybody else...
Lovey worked out for you. You had the Super Bowl run, but you needed to go out there and get the big-time hire and stop putting a Band-Aid on these bullet wounds.
Here's what I would tell somebody out there who in your mid to late 20s, early 30s, I'll tie in getting married. I told myself the entire time, growing up, I'm never going to get married. Never wanted to. Didn't care. Wasn't a big deal to me because I thought I was going to be settling, and I didn't. Never settle. And I don't care if you're 18 years old, 23 again, wherever you are, whatever you might be for a living, never settle if you're going to get married. And for coaching, it's the same thing. Anybody else other than Ben Johnson would have been settling. Like Mike McCarthy, I actually didn't even hate it. I don't think he's a very good head coach overall. He's won a lot of games with a lot of talent. But I thought that would have been an okay hire. You're settling for Mike McCarthy. You would have been settling for almost every other guy out there. Take a chance here with Ben Johnson. Because as I'm sitting here telling you that it might be a flop in 2 years, I don't know. Maybe he's a complete wizard as a head coach. And Caleb Williams turns into the guy they thought they were going to get number one overall. Like all this crap this weekend. And I love Jane Daniels. But how many people were making the case for Jane Daniels to go number one to Chicago last year? Now they are, conveniently enough. It's just like the same memes that we're seeing about, hey, they could have had Patrick Mahomes. Again, who made the case for Patrick Mahomes when he was drafted? Nobody was on the table beating it down, saying we have to take this guy or he's got to go number one. Don't recall it? You want to know why? Because nobody said it. So it's very easy to say nowadays, looking back at stuff and tying this into what go ahead.
I was going to say the other big thing is creativity and imagination.
Yeah.
They were promised that when they hired Nagy. Got none of it. None of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting the Kansas City offense. I'm going to run. They're going to be running this gadget stuff. And he never brought any of that to Chicago.
After the first year, it was a disaster.
Right. So that's the big thing they needed. And if the fallback was Kingsbury, I was okay with that too because of creativity and imagination. And that's what desperately this organization needs in the quarterback position.
Right.
So an excellent job there, and I'm shocked that they're able to pull this off. And so many people doubted him, and rightfully so. But they had to do it and swing for the fences.
Also, he's hiring. See, here's what I'm talking about. He's going to hire Dennis Allen as his DC. Horrendous head coach, very good defensive coordinator. That is a very good step in the right direction already, like out of the gates. And like to go inside the Lions' own division now.
Yeah.
And you're like chopping off the leg of the 15-2 team that got blown out at home, could not win one playoff game on Saturday night. I don't know what's going to happen to Aaron Glenn. I will make the excuse for him that they had 30 different starters, I believe was the number this year on defense. And I saw this on X during the game. So who knows their teams better than anybody, right? It's like diehard, lifelong fans of the team. They know all the ins and outs. Like in baseball, they know if the manager goes to a reliever in the seventh inning, it's a mistake facing certain guys in baseball. In the NFL, they have everything memorized. They know the special teams players. I saw lifelong diehard Lions fans in the third quarter say, I didn't know who three guys were on defense. Had no idea.
Yeah, there's a lot to that. But you're going to lose the press conference if you hire Glenn. So as much as they made of the great performance Sunday night against the Vikings, we all know what it was. It was Sam Darnold holding onto the ball and missing guys wide open. Because you can still have guys out, but you can still be buttoned up and look professional, and that wasn't professional. The McLaurin touchdown's an embarrassment. And I feel for the fan base, and I actually think we'll get to it coming up. He's in my bet. Ben Johnson was terrible. But you can't just, you got to get stops here. And you got to make it difficult on Washington. The too many men on the field, the McLaurin touchdown, guys wide open, it can't happen. And I've been there as a Viking fan, and this is only the second time this has happened in NFL history. You go 15-2 and you can't even win a playoff game. So that one stings.
That's a killer.
That's what sucks about sports. You want Dan Patrick was on this network. He was good. I root for the storylines. I'm not a fan anymore. I feel the same way. I wanted a Buffalo-Detroit Super Bowl. I wanted the Lions to make the Super Bowl. I wanted the Lions at least to get to the NFC title game. They've been, broken, beat up, and scarred. It's been this way for a long time. Horrible organization. Haven't won back-to-back playoff games since the 50s. Blew it last year. Should have won. Kick the field goal. Go up 17. Doesn't do it. And then here, you turn it over 5 times. You don't take care of the ball, and you can't get a stop even with all the injuries, and you lose, and you go 15-2, get the 1 seed in for what?
You're down by 10, and you break out Jamison Williams to throw a pass in the game.
Yep.
It's 38-28.
Yep. I still think shotgun, 3rd and 1 was the most egregious. You're killing them on the ground.
Killing them on the ground.
Chunk after chunk after chunk. They can't stop the run. They're 30th against the run. Shotgun, 3rd and 1.
Gibbs all day long. Give him 29 carries in the game. I don't care. Give him 35. It doesn't matter to me. Also, I will say Jared Goff was far from great. We can all agree on that. But this is like the little things that will get lost. On the fumble, I think that was the first turnover of the game. I lost count. They had 5 overall.
Right.
But on the fumble, they're driving deep inside Washington territory. He's got Amon-Ra St. Brown against Bobby Wagner. That's the exact matchup they wanted to isolate. He was going to have him wide open for a touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown stumbled. Goff had to reevaluate what was going on. And in the time that he was waiting for Amon-Ra St. Brown to get up off the field and get open again, that's where the pressure came and he got hit. And the fumble occurred right there. That's a disaster. I mean, you can't predict that.
Well,
they got Amon-Ra St. Brown isolated on Bobby Wagner, and he's going to score a touchdown on that play.
There was a lot of instances like that with these games. But the other thing is the interception's horrendous. The pick 6. That was also a penalty. Pereira was right. Shouldn't have been a touchdown. In any event, where are you throwing the ball? The other interception before halftime in the end zone. You thought you had him there. The Williams play, that's egregious too. You can't do it. You're only down 10. You're right there. Why would you call that play there? When again, they can't stop anything you do on the ground, and you're pushing them around up front, and you're getting chunk after chunk play on the ground. That felt like a look at me. I'm in my bag. I've been working on this stuff for 2 weeks.
Right.
We got it. We know you're awesome. There's no need to do stuff like that. But the biggest concern was Campbell being too aggressive and giving a game away on fourth down or a fake punt, or what Ben Johnson did earlier against Tampa Bay. Pass, pass. You can run the ball. You have a great rushing attack and O-line. And Ben Johnson did a horrible job Saturday night.
I said that when I made my case for the Lions, and it sucks because at 12-1 on the Super Bowl, 6-1 on the NFC went down in flames. I said my biggest concern, I did not pinpoint Ben Johnson, but I said Dan Campbell overall will cost me games. I should have said Dan Campbell and the coaching staff will cost me games. And I never could have predicted 175 injuries on defense either.
Now what? You're going to lose both coordinators. How long is Goff going to play? And then who do you bring in to replace these guys, right? But that also goes back to maybe the concerns you have about Goff winning a big game.
That's why this was their year.
That's right.
This
it was all set up for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's tough. I think it's over for Detroit. That's unfortunate. And again, that's why it's so difficult this weekend. When you work your ass off to get the 1 seed, and you can't even do anything with it. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, now live 24/7, Sirius XM Channel 158. Whether you're at home, on the road, or on the go, more ways than ever to tune into VSiN. Stream us live, VSiN.com, the Watch app, YouTube TV, iHeartRadio, Fire TV, Roku, and Sirius XM.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Coming up in 15 minutes, professional sports bettor Paul Stone on the national title game. What does he hit with us now? Back-to-back weeks, 6 in a row?
You got it. Okay. 6 in a row.
Good as best bets for the game on title game day, by the way, 3 hours before kickoff. Tough to do. We'll see what he likes at this point. Okay, so here's a tweet for you, Pauly, from OptaStats. The Baltimore Ravens, first team in NFL history to rush for 175-plus yards, complete 70% of their passes, average 10-plus yards per pass, convert 70% of their third downs, have no punts or missed field goals, all in the same game, regular or postseason. They still ended up losing. I was disgusted watching the game throughout. I hope that John Harbaugh, Todd Monken get destroyed nationally. I'm sure they won't this week because everybody will blame Lamar Jackson, even though he was far from the worst thing that happened to the Ravens yesterday. It wasn't great. Obviously, the fumble was inexcusable. But I thought the coaching, and I'll expand on this coming up a little bit later on, the coaching stunk. You also went out to get Derrick Henry for a game specifically like this, 16 carries overall, once at the goal line, one time at the goal line, and you gave up. And you called back-to-back pass plays, you idiots. What are you doing? Did you watch the Eagles game earlier in the day where they said, hey, it's snowy. We got Barkley in the offseason. Here's 26 carries. Pound it down their throats. I was blown away at what they did. Overall, I don't really feel like we had that many true outcomes this week.
I would argue the 4 teams that won all got outplayed.
I think at least 3 of the better teams, 3 teams that lost minimum, were the better team in the game.
That's why everyone had Baltimore. Most people had Baltimore the number 1 team in the league. You're -3 in the turnover battle. You still should have won the game.
Yeah.
Right? So that's number 1. Same thing in the Houston game. First time in NFL history, a team outgained their opponents by over 100 yards and didn't turn the ball over and lost. That was 49 and rip. The Kansas City nonsense continues. Then, Detroit turns it over 5 times. And then the Rams beat themselves with the 2 turnovers.
The 2 fumbles.
The Williams fumble is a game changer because they take the ball down inside the 10, and then Stafford turns it over again. And I believe it led to points. So you see how they got the passing attack going late, even in the blizzard. And then you had the big sack by Carter, or else they're going to win the game, and somehow the Eagles are going to blow a 13-point lead with 4 minutes left. So looking at how the numbers played out and the turnovers and watching the actual game, it could have been 4-0 the other way.
Yeah.
How it would happen. Yeah.
Every single winning team was outgained. The Chiefs by 120. I'll go in chronological order. The Chiefs got outgained by 124 yards. Commanders by 40. Eagles by 52. Bills by 143. Every losing team had more first downs. Yet, again, the common denominator here for the winning teams, None of them had a turnover. All 4 winning teams combined for 0 turnovers. Absolutely massive. On the flip side, Houston, they did not have one. The Lions had 5, the Ravens had 3, and the Rams had 2. The Chiefs also won their 12th game of the season by single digits, most ever in a single season, regular season and playoffs combined. So I thought yesterday's game, that was the heavyweight championship fight that everybody wanted to see. I kind of thought it was a dud the way it played out.
You felt that way?
Yeah, I don't. I was disappointed.
Oh, okay.
Overall in the game.
Well, they turnovers do that to you, and it's got to be a sick off season for Andrews. That's one of the worst performances from in a quarter. Forget a game, in a quarter you're ever going to see.
I'm not even okay with the fumble or a drop 2-point conversion that ties the game up. He had both?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. But it's the same stuff, and everything people say about Lamar is fair. You got to stop it with the turnovers, man. And they put the graphic up on the screen during the game. You don't do this in the regular season, but playoff time, you've done it in half your games. And the fumble's silly.
The fumble was just
I don't know what Romo's doing talking about Milano. This is a horrible throw. The interception's just a horrible throw. And then between the bad snap and then he panicked and he's carrying the ball like a loaf of bread, and that led to points as well. But also the importance of getting the right number and the key number, right? And getting the best of it. The total was fell 52 in the Bills game. It was 51.5, 52, 52.5. Bam, falls 52.
Yeah.
The Chiefs were 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5. It falls 9. Rams were 6, 6.5, 7. Falls 6.
Some spots I think had 5.5.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that something?
It really is.
And it just
for the Chiefs game to play out like that?
That's right. You get the missed field goal. And I talked to Jeff Sherman at the Westgate that it would have been better without the safety. Here at Circa, not a disaster, but not good. But you're thinking, okay, it's going to fall 8th, blocked field goal, and then for whatever reason, he takes the safety. I mean, there's 10 seconds left, Andy. I think it's in the bag.
Yeah.
But
it was unnecessary, in my opinion.
It was, yeah. And it puts it on 9. I mean, you just could have ran 2 plays there either, as well, instead of taking 2 knees. But in any event, that falls 9, and that's a vicious beat.
Well, so if you grab the 9.5, right, that's 23-12.
Mm-hmm.
Houston's got the ball back. Think about the math again for a second here. That's an 11-point deficit. You need a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal. They're driving down the field. You're thinking at some point, oh, this is beautiful. I'm going to get my field goal and walk out of there plus 9.5. Then they probably got too deep, right? They're probably telling themselves, well, this is our best chance to score a touchdown. Now the field goal's off the board. Let's go for the touchdown. Mm-hmm. Doesn't work out that way. You're dead in the water, and then he scrambles back and takes that long, loss for a safety. How did you not give up on the game at that point? You're going to hold out hope, saying, well, I can still do this with plus 9.5 in pocket?
I can't believe Ryan's called a timeout. I mean, you're down 11 with less than 2 minutes. You have one. What's the point? That was another thing, too. But, yeah, absolutely. Nuts. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, I will say this.
The turnovers and the kickers were big issues, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if Philadelphia misses a Super Bowl because of a kicker, I mean, Elliott misses 2 again. Fairbairn misses 3 kicks. I mean, and you don't want variance and you don't want the nonsense, and that's coming into play because you can't trust these kickers on an extra point, and always file that away when these guys say take the points because it's always an adventure. You can't put it, mark it down, no problem, extra point. Everything's an adventure now in the NFL.
Well, how pissed are you if you had the Eagles at a bad number, you were late to the party, you laid 6.5 in the game or a 7, and you had to watch that guy trot out there and miss 2 extra points yesterday. Also, I'd tell this to D'Amico Ryans, right? In the Texans game. You just had Fairbairn who, it was windy. He missed the field goal by 45 yards. You maybe want to go for 2 to try and tie it up instead of...
I felt the same way watching the Eagle game. Go for 2.
Yeah.
Can't trust this guy.
Yeah. I will say that...
To try a 55-yard field goal by Ryans, that swung the game as well. Although the officials, of course, had a big hand in it. But you try a 55-yard field goal, you look where you're handing them the ball.
I'd say my biggest regret this weekend from a betting standpoint was not laddering Travis Kelce.
Yep, you were all over it. I'm with Aikman. I don't understand it. How is he that open? You know where the ball's going. Hopkins does nothing. Brown does nothing. Schuster does nothing. Gray, a couple catches. Whoop-de-doo. 3rd and 4. Where am I going? Kelce. Big play. Where am I going? Kelce. No answer. It's like he's running in slow motion, too. He's not even running a route. There he is. Yeah. Another big game. Can't stop them, right? And they win again. So it's just, 3rd and 6, 2 minutes left in the third quarter, 13-12. Got to have the play. Where is he? Right there. Big play, Kelsey. Right over the middle to set him up in the red zone. Kelsey, another long one as well. I mean, it's just, I'm with Aikman on that. It doesn't make any sense how this guy continues to get open, big play after big play, and he continues to deliver. And Mitch is right about about betting the prop as well, because that came in no problem. And he was, I think, 3 or 4 to 1 to have the most receiving yards in that game. But I'm sure he'll deliver again Sunday. So shame on everyone, myself included, not having it. But they are now 7 straight trips to the title game. Mahomes, 32-3 touchdown INT ratio in home playoff games, and they find a way to do it again. And I love Aikman. I love pissed off Troy Aikman. That the screaming, "Oh, come on the second personal foul when no one even touches him and it's friendly fire. That comment was so good for a guy to say, quote, "We can't let quarterbacks run around and play games with defenders. This must be addressed in the offseason." Good for him. And I never thought Mahomes would turn into James Harden. He's trying to embellish.
Oh, yeah.
And he's trying to. It's ridiculous what he's doing. The stuff on the sideline, which Aikman also called out, I'm going to slow down on purpose. Then he played games with, remember the 49? Well, I'm going to run out of bounds. Oh, I'm going to keep going, right? Because once I get close to the sideline, you can't touch me. Aikman was all over.
He was
a
great. Soccer player now.
He's a jabroni.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's James Harden and Trae Young. You're too good to do stuff like that. That's ridiculous. That Patrick Mahomes has to resort to that kind of stuff because he knows he's going to get the call, right? He knows. And he's playing games. He's playing games with it.
All right. There's no hiding it. I caught a cough over the weekend. You missed a day last week. So I apologize in advance. It sucks. Came down late last night. So my apologies for that if you hear somebody coughing here in the background. Coming up next, the national title game kicks off in about 3 hours. Professional sports bettor Paul Stone on the program. He's had a good read on these games in the postseason. He's won 6 straight. We'll ask him which numbers are worth betting 3 hours before kickoff. Coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The Natty kicks off in just over 3 hours tonight as we have Ohio State favored by as high as 9 in the market over Notre Dame. There's a 46 out there. Several spots have 45.5, and professional sports bettor Paul Stone joins the program now. He is on the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow Paul on X. He is at Paul Stone Sports. Good afternoon. Paul, thanks for the time today. How are you?
Doing well. Just excited to have the national championship game upon us, and equally excited for the network, VSiN, to be back on Sirius XM on channel 158. Excited to be talking to those folks today as well.
Very cool. Yeah, we're right there with you. Thanks for saying that, by the way. Very nice of you. Let's begin with the side tonight. And you've had a really good read here of these postseason games going back the last couple of weeks. What do you want to do with the point spread in this game, Paul?
Well, I tell you, first of all, hopefully it'll continue. I think most people would admit, Mitch, that Notre Dame, they've got a narrower path to victory, if you will, in tonight's game. I think they need to be able to throw the ball. Notre Dame is primarily a running team, one of the best running teams in the nation. They average over 200 yards a game on the ground, lead the nation in yards per carry at 5.9 yards per carry. But Ohio State's very good against the run, only give up 90 yards a game rushing, 2.7 yards per carry. Something's got to give. So I think that's going to kind of be a wash. Notre Dame's running game against Ohio State's rush defense. So I think Notre Dame's going to have to go to the air. Riley Leonard's going to have to be successful in the throwing game. So they need to throw the ball. 2, I think they have to win the turnover battle. And 3, I think they have to win the battle of special teams. I mean, we go back to the Georgia game. I'm not expecting anything quite that dramatic, but at the end of the first half, they forced the turnover, score on the 13-yard pass one play later, and then they take the ensuing kick or the second half kickoff back 97 yards, score 14 points in a 42-second span. So they need to do something in this. They need to be special in the special teams as well. Since the BCS began in 1998, we've played 26 national championship games. If you pick the winner of the game, you would also cover the spread 23 of those 26 games. So 88% is pretty good. There's only been 3 times where the favorite won the game but did not cover the point spread. I think Ohio State's going to win the game. And one of the main reasons why is, Notre Dame, first of all, their defense is good. It's one of the best defenses in the country, top 5. I don't question that. But is it quite as good as some people are making out? As I like to say quite often, it's not always how you play, it's who you play. And if you examine Notre Dame's schedule, I mean, they played 2 MAC teams. They played 2 service academies. They played 2 good teams, but 2 teams, Georgia Tech and Georgia, without their starting quarterbacks. And then they played Purdue, Stanford, Florida State, and Virginia. The first 3 of those, 120th or worse in total offense. Virginia coming in at 97th in offense. So they didn't play a whole lot of really good offensive teams. Certainly nothing like they're going to face tonight with the Buckeyes and those receivers. Above average quarterbacks, they had some success throwing the ball against the Irish this year. USC's quarterback, Jaden Mayava, didn't even begin the year as the Trojan starting quarterback. He threw for 360. Georgia Tech's backup quarterback, Zach Pyron, he threw for 269. Louisville's Tyler Shuff threw for 264. You look at Gunnar Stockton. Gunnar Stockton had only basically played a half of football against Texas before starting against Notre Dame in the quarterfinals. He threw for 234 yards. Notre Dame, they only faced 2 teams in the regular season, USC and Louisville, that ranked in the top 60 in passing offense. So this is going to be a different type team that they're facing tonight in Ohio State with that embarrassment of riches at the running back and wide receiver positions. I think the Buckeyes win by double digits. I like Ohio State to defeat Notre Dame tonight by 10 or more points.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing about this is we've had, I think it's 6 straight national title games that have been absolute bloodbaths and blowouts. The last 5 have been all favorites. The last one that was not, it was, I think, 2019 Clemson. They were a small dog to Bama, and they killed them like 44-16. Paul Stone's our guest here on the Progressive Guest Line. Okay, so that's your side. Let's go into player props. Will Howard has been really, really good since the Michigan loss. How do you want to attack him tonight, Paul?
Yeah, I've got 3 player props here that are correlated to my Ohio State side recommendation there. And typically, you guys probably know that my process is skewed historically to underdogs and unders. And that's just kind of the way that I approach it. I'm going to look at 3 overs, though, and recommend 3 overs on Ohio State players based on my belief that the Buckeyes are going to be able to move the ball against the Irish tonight. And we're going to start with Will Howard over his passing yards. The number that you get will vary greatly in some cases from book to book, but at South Point right now, 242.5 passing yards. I mean, you look at Howard during the playoffs in these 3 victories, 65 of 88 through the air, so 74%. He's averaging 10.4 yards per attempt. He's thrown for 6 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. One of those interceptions, the Buckeyes were ahead by 21 points against Tennessee, so pretty inconsequential. The one that he threw against Texas, they would rather have that one back. But he's really been throwing the ball well. He's been playing very efficient football, threw for over 300 yards against both Tennessee and Oregon, threw for 289 against Texas. So I like Will Howard to go over 242.5 passing yards. And then you look at this Notre Dame defense and how they're going to approach all these receivers that Ohio State puts on the field at the same time. And I know Al Golden, and he's a righteous man. I don't think he's trying to deceive us. But Al has said this week, we play man-to-man coverage. That's who we are. We're going to dance with who brought us. We're playing man-to-man. but I don't believe him. I don't think they're going to play solely man-to-man. You don't want to let the Buckeyes cleanup hitter, their home run hitter, Jeremiah Smith, beat you. In the first 2 playoff games, we saw what the true freshman from Florida can do. He had 100-yard receiving games against both Tennessee and Oregon. Texas, though, they dropped 2 safeties back. They put Jahdae Barron on him, their best cover guy. They gave up some underneath stuff, but they said Jeremiah Smith's not going to beat us. So Jeremiah Smith only had 1 reception for 3 yards. I'm not saying that's going to happen tonight. He's probably going to get some yardage. But I think the guys in less prominent roles are going to benefit from the extra attention that Notre Dame pays to Jeremiah Smith. One of those being Carnell Tate. I like him over 30.5 yards receiving. That's available at BetGM. Tate has been a guy who has kind of prospered when Jeremiah Smith has had quote-unquote off games. There were 4 games this season that Jeremiah Smith had 55 yards receiving or less. In those 4 games, Carnell Tate had 58 yards receiving or more in 3 of those 4. So when Smith is held down, Carnell Tate has benefited. I like Tate over 38.5 receiving yards. And then my last recommendation, tight end G. Scott over 17.5 receiving yards, available there at Circa and William Hill. Again, with more attention being paid to Smith, I think Scott's going to be one of the beneficiaries of that attention. He's had 30 yards or more receiving in all 3 of Ohio State's playoff victories. So they've started kind of going to him. During the regular season, he was an afterthought, but I think they have confidence in him now. I mean, coaching staff, sometimes they don't throw to guys because they don't have confidence that they can catch it.
Right.
But G. Scott has shown that he can come through. He's been big in the playoffs. He gets 2 catches, we might get there. If he gets 3, we probably get there for sure. So G. Scott over 17.5 receiving yards.
Excellent breakdown as always. Let's hope that his heater continues. Okay, sir. Enjoy the game tonight. Thanks so much for the time today. We appreciate that.
Hey, absolutely. Love to be on with you guys this season, and good luck to you.
There you go. You can follow Paul on X. He's at Paul Stone Sports, also the name of his podcast. He joined us here on the Progressive Guest Line. So what I was talking about there, the previous 5 games, obviously they have nothing to do with tonight's game. However, here are your scores. Last year, Washington's offense, Michael Penix, one of the best in the entire country. They were blown out by Michigan 34-13. The year before that, of course, it was TCU. They got obliterated by Georgia 65-7. The year before that, it was the rematch of the SEC title game. Alabama were big dogs in that game. They killed the Bulldogs. In the national title game, Georgia got revenge 33-18 in 2021. That was actually the COVID year. So we'll go January of 2021. Bama beat Ohio State 52-24. And the year before that was like the best offense we've ever seen. LSU beat Clemson 42-25. So all these other teams have been like really, really good opponents, gotten absolutely blasted. And in fact, the game I mentioned to Paul there was Clemson in 2018 when they beat Alabama. That was Trevor Lawrence, 44-16. And they were not favored in that game. So you have to go all the way back to that game to find a dog that was actually live here and could bite a little bit. But been a long, long time overall.
Sports betting and trading, understanding probability, the ultimate game changer. Unlock the secrets of high probability trading with Todd Bubba Horowitz, former floor trader and seasoned sports bettor. With over 45 years of experience, visit BubbaTrading.com/VSiN. Promo code VSiN500 today to save $500. Win, lose, coming up next. Recap all the crazy props and the bad beats coming up on VSiN. Follow the money.
Night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, let's start with Saturday. Chiefs-Texans, first touchdown. Hunt, plus 950. Safety, 10-1. Most receiving yards, of course. Kelsey again, 4-1. Kelsey to have 100 yards. Everyone should have their head examined that didn't have this, because Mitch had the breakdown Friday. Every big game this guy delivers. He does nothing in the regular season. Shows up for the playoffs. That paid plus 725. Mixon and Kelsey touchdown, both plus 525. Missed extra point, plus 240. Chiefs to win by 8 to 14 points, plus 390. Lions Commanders. Here's another example with the great props at Circa that if you thought there was a way Washington could win the game, McLaurin, Robinson, these guys, Daniels, they had to go off, get in the end zone, throw for touchdowns, and that paid well. And certainly that happened too. I know hindsight's 2020. Commander money line 4-1. First touchdown Gibbs plus 450. Defensive or special teams touchdown plus 265. Anytime touchdown McNichols 15-1. Who had that? Show it. Ertz touchdown 3-1. Here's what I'm talking about. Daniels 2 touchdowns and the Commanders win plus 775 at Circa. Robinson touchdown and they win 975. McLaurin touchdown and they win plus 925. Gibbs 100 yards plus 230. St. Brown 100 yards plus 225. Commanders win by 8 to 14 points, 20-1. Eagles Rams first touchdown of the game, Hurts 5-1. Didn't look like the same quarterback after the knee injury. Sacked 7 times and took the safety, but he had it going early. Eagles to win by 1 to 7 points plus 225. Missed extra point plus 240. Safety again, 10-1. Higbee, anytime touchdown, 4-1. Parkinson, anytime touchdown, 12-1. Who had it? Let's see it. Stafford, 300 yards plus 675 in the blizzard, which was fantastic television. The second half was awesome that we got that in a divisional round. Barkley, 2 touchdowns plus 325. Barkley to score and have 150 yards plus 450. Williams, 100 yards plus 350. Both teams to score in the first quarter plus 155. Bills Ravens, first touchdown Bateman, 14-1. Ray Davis, anytime touchdown, 4-1. Allen touchdown and the Bills win, plus 260. For the week, most passing yards, Stafford, in those conditions and in the elements, plus 850. Figured to be a lot higher once you saw how it was coming down sideways in the second half. What a game by Stafford. What a gutsy performance and a great coaching job by the Rams. They were 1-4. They had a ton of injuries. Nothing was going right. What Shula did to this defense, how McVay held everyone together, and the SoCal guys, who are supposed to be soft, go out there with sweatshirts and outplay the Eagles in the snow. Great job all the way around with the Rams organization. Brown, most receiving yards, plus 850. Most rushing yards, Barkley, plus 250. All teams to make a field goal. Yes, plus 250. One that just missed. Every team to have a rushing touchdown. The Rams were the only one who didn't get it. Open 40-1, closed 20. Most points, Commanders. There it was, plus 850. I mean, if you thought they could win the game, they're going to have to score a ton of points like I was talking about earlier, Mitch, with these props. Like, if the Washington's going to win, Daniel's going to have to throw for a couple touchdowns. McLaurin's going to have to score. You figure Robinson's going to get into the end zone. Suddenly that becomes 9-10-1.
We talked about that precise angle over and over last week, specifically on Friday. And they were, I think we saw them like almost teetering on 10-1. I know different prices were around there.
Right, yeah.
Right, but the variance of that game, off the charts, several different outcomes were possible, one of which was the Commanders winning in a high-scoring game, and voila, there you go.
Yep. Fewest points, Texans, 2-1. UFC, 3-11. Guskov by submission, 16-1. Round 2, 4-1. Gavarov, decision, 8-1. He was plus 550 to win the fight. Wow. Big move on Nakamura. Barcelos by decision, 14-1. To win plus 650. DeRitter, round 1, 6-1. Yuri, round 3, 9-1. Makayev, open $6, closed $12. Easy winner. College basketball upsets again. Creighton plus 285 beat UConn. Buffalo plus 350. Gonzaga loses again. In overtime at home, Santa Clara 10-11-1. Xavier 4-1. Stanford 6-1. Vandy 2-1. West Virginia plus 240. Rider 3-1. UNLV plus 440. One at San Diego State. Cal Riverside 4-1. Celtics lose again at home and in overtime. Hawks got them plus 350 on a money line. One in the Premier League, Bournemouth, was 4-1. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you on. They never taught him how to do this. They never told him. But the dog always goes out and wipes his feet, coming back in before he gets the... Okay, go out, do your business, come on in, wipe your feet. There you go. How good is that? Every single time he comes in, make sure you wipe your paws off, right? Right on the mat, no problem. After you're going outside, do your business. Okay, on about my day. There you go.
Watch the leap, by the way, from the outside wood. Right? Boom.
Yes, right. Nailed it.
Off the top rope.
Yeah, excellent. Look at that. He knows how to do that. Lose some. Nakamura opened $5.50, closed $8. Lost. Bad for the books. Chiefs from 7.5 to 9.5. Fell 9. Again, not good for the books. Not a disaster, but always it depends on where you shop as well. One book said it was a disaster, seeing that Patrick Everson dancing around town. Commanders from 10.5 down to 8. They went outright. That's win some, lose some. Wild weekend.
Good job, man.
All right. A lot of stuff there. But the other stuff. Oh, Straka. Straka 50-1, 2-1 to golf. That's another one.
Wes Reynolds back-to-back.
How does he do it? He had it again. He had Nick Taylor 115-1, and then he had Straka 50-60 to 1.
50-60 to 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Today's NBA card, by the way, very light on MLK Day. Surprised by that. 2 games are in the books already.
Mm-hmm.
Hornets beat the Mavericks 110-105. Pistons just beat the Rockets by the 11, by the way, 107-96. Now, this came in last night. The Lakers team total under. Another winner for the opposing team playing at the Intuit Dome against this Clippers defense in the wall. Tonight, we have another situation back-to-back for the clip joint. Bulls are a very high-scoring team.
Back-to-back, yeah, hate the spot, yeah.
But the Bulls win, the team total, I think, is right around 110.5 tonight.
Yeah.
I think it's like 15-4 now on the year to the under for the opposing team total there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Chuck Edel coming up in about 8 minutes. Pro Sports Better, awesome on college. We will get his thoughts on the national title game overall. What's the best Super Bowl matchup we have now with the Final Four teams remaining?
What's your? Are you asking as a viewer, as in terms of entertainment or storyline? To me, Bills Eagles. But I'm
I'll
different.
go entertainment-wise, yeah.
Entertainment-wise is Bills Washington.
No question.
I don't want a 6 seed in the Super Bowl. Future's bright for Washington, but it's a great. You didn't win a playoff game for 19 years. I don't want a 6 seed in the Super Bowl.
That to me is irrelevant. But
okay,
that to me on paper is outstanding.
Sure, Bills Eagles is a great matchup.
Phenomenal,
right?
Yep.
I'm like the rest of the country. I'm sick of Kansas City. It's enough already. I mean, it's not the mystique and everything.
Chiefs Eagles, I might walk the dog.
We'd get that one
for
again.
3.5 hours.
I got that. Oh man, the Bills angle with Allen going against the Eagles and Barkley.
Buffalo is very good.
Stick it to the Giants. Yeah, I know.
I feel bad for these fan bases that have been through the meat grinder for 100 years. Man,
I know. Yeah.
I feel so bad for the Lions fan base.
Yeah,
like
I know,
you know, the team that you grew up, the Vikings, man, to lose like that. The Browns not this year, but you know who I'm talking about here.
I know the Ravens have a Super Bowl, but same thing. It's like you do this, you embarrass yourself every January.
Every single year.
The run
now.
you're on.
Yeah.
So that's another one. But how about this? I know you got this coming up. I didn't think about this till the game was over. The NFC North went 0-3.
Oh, I have that. My good, bad, the ugly. Yeah.
The best division we've ever seen. 15-2, 14-3. Packers win 12 games. Couldn't win a playoff game.
Games are not even close.
Yeah, right.
Not even close.
How about that?
Yeah. I can't believe this. The Chiefs are boring to watch. I don't want them on my TV. That went from Mahomes was the greatest. I mean, come on, the aerial assault for like the first 5 years. Now I can't even watch them.
I can't believe what I was watching. No Brown.
No Hopkins.
No Hopkins. Yep. No, it's just, you know where the ball's going, and no one can stop it. Right? No one can stop it. Chuck Edel coming up next. His picks on the big game, Notre Dame and Ohio State. His prediction side and total and prop straight ahead. VSiN, follow the money, the Sports Betting Network.